Dear friends, I welcome you all to the Science Corner of AJ Studio. This is a place where you can learn different concepts in science. In this video, we are going to start the chapter 1 of class 10 science, that is chemical reactions and chemical equations. Before we start the class, let's see what are the concepts we are going to learn in this video. First, we are going to have an introduction about the various reactions which are happening around us, and then we are going to do an activity 1.1. It is about burning of magnesium ribbon. From that activity we are going to derive the concept of chemical reaction. Yes, let's start the class by answering the questions which are listed in this slide. The first one is, what happens when the milk is left at room temperature during summer? We all know that when milk is left outside, it gets oxidized due to an atmospheric air, that is, the air which is present around us. Because of this, oxidation reaction occurs in milk. Due to an oxidation reaction, a bacteria called Lactobacillus, which is a good bacteria, that is a good microorganism, starts growing in the milk, which is responsible for the milk changes to curd. This process we call as fermentation. During this process, not only the physical nature of milk has been changed and also its chemical nature. That is, we all know that milk has lactose in it, which has been converted into lactic acid by the action of a bacteria called Lactobacillus, which gives the sour taste to the curd. And also, the pH of the milk has been reduced when it changes to curd. Now let's move to the second question, that is, what happens when an iron tawa or iron pan or an iron nail is left exposed to humid atmosphere? Dear children, you might have learned this in class 9 that when an iron tawa or iron pan or iron nail is exposed to humid condition, its color changes. That is, it changes from silver to reddish brown color. And this happens is because of oxidation reaction, and this process we call as rusting. Let's discuss more about it with the help of the equation given below. You all know that the molecular formula of iron is Fe, and for oxygen it is O2, and for water it is H2O. So children, whenever the iron reacts with oxygen and water, it changes to Fe2O3H2O. It is nothing but it is iron oxide, and this iron oxide is the responsible for the color change. Okay, and this is the reason, because of the iron oxide the nail color has changes from silver to brown color, and this process we call as rusting. And now let's move to the next question, that is, what happens when grapes get fermented? Dear children, when grapes has been attached to plants, it is considered as living. That means it has life. So the immune system which it has will not allow the grapes to get fermented. And when it is plucked, I meant when the grapes are plucked, it gets attacked by microbes in the absence of air, and the grapes gets converted into alcohol, and this process we call as fermentation. From this we should understand that when grapes get fermented, it changes to alcohol, that is ethanol and carbon dioxide. Now let's move to the next question, that is, what happens when food is cooked? Dear children, when food is cooked, the physical texture of the food changes. Not only the physical texture, even the chemical composition of the food gets changes. That is, the fibers and the various nutrients present in the food gets broken into simpler substances, which helps us to digest the food easier. Now let's move to the next question, that is, what happens when food gets digested in the body? You all might be learning this concept from class 6 onwards, that whenever the food enters into the mouth, it enters into the stomach, where the acid HCl and the gastric juices present in the stomach breaks the complex food into simpler food, and the nutrients present in the foods gets absorbed in the stomach, and then it enters into the small intestine. The nutrients gets absorbed, and then it enters into the large intestine, where the water gets absorbed by the large intestine and the waste things comes out of the anus. This is the process happens whenever the food enters into the body. Move on to the last one, that is, what happens when we respire? Dear children, whenever we breathe, the air enters into our nose and from nose it goes to the lungs, where our lungs purifies the air and gives the oxygen to the blood which flows near to the lungs and takes the carbon dioxide from the blood which flows near to the lungs and it sends out with the help of nose, and this process we call as respiration. From this we all should understand that gas exchanges has been taking place continuously. Dear children, so far we had discussed many questions which are happening in our day-to-day life. From those questions we might have understood that many physical and chemical changes has been taken place. Now let's further discuss about the questions which we had discussed before. Just see into the tabular column of physical and chemical nature of milk before the reaction and after the reaction. If we see the milk before the reaction, the physical nature of the milk is that it is in liquid state and the taste of it is slightly sweet. And when we take the chemical nature, it has lactose content in it. And after the reaction, the physical nature of the milk has been changed from liquid state to semi-solid state, and the taste has been changed from sweet taste to sour taste. And when we look into the chemical nature, the lactose has been changed to lactic acid after the reaction. And when we see the iron before it has exposed to humid condition, its physical surface is very smooth and the color of the iron is silvery grey, and the chemical nature is it has the iron content alone in it. And once if the iron has been exposed to oxygen and humid condition, the physical nature, that is the smoothness, has been changed to roughness, and the silvery color has been changed to red, yellow or brown and black in color, and the chemical nature has been changed from iron to iron oxide. Dear children, from this tabular column we can infer that the nature and the identity of the initial substance have somewhat changed. This clearly shows that the physical and chemical changes of matter takes place after the reaction. Here children, the physical change of substance can be easily noted by seeing its color change and by tasting it. Like physical change, shall we see the chemical change? If no, how do we come to know that a chemical reaction has taken place? To find out whether a chemical reaction has taken place or not, let us perform an activity. Doing this activity, we need a pair of tongs, magnesium ribbon, burner, spirit lamp and watch glass. Now let's do an experiment. Watch it carefully. Take a matchbox and lit the spirit lamp. And take a magnesium ribbon and hold it with the help of tongue. After that, burn it in the spirit lamp. The magnesium ribbon catches fire easily with the help of atmospheric oxygen. Once the magnesium ribbon catches fire, put it in the watch glass and wait till the entire magnesium ribbon gets burnt. Now, take a water using water filler and dissolve the burnt magnesium ribbon thoroughly. And now, take the dissolved magnesium with the help of water filler and put it in the blue litmus paper and red litmus paper and observe the changes. The red litmus paper changes to blue while the blue litmus paper remains the same. What does it indicate? The oxide of magnesium is basic in nature. From this, we can infer that oxides of metals are basic in nature. When metal oxides are dissolved in water, the metal ions react with water and form hydroxide ions, which makes the solution basic. From this activity, we could understand that chemical reaction has taken place. Yes, when magnesium reacts with oxygen, it forms magnesium oxide. Here, one set of chemical substances has been transformed into another chemical substance. This type of reaction we call as chemical reaction. Now children, have you all understood what is chemical reaction? If yes, can you derive the definition of chemical reaction with the help of the given example? A chemical reaction is a process that leads to the chemical transformation of one set of chemical substances to another. The example is when magnesium reacts with oxygen, it forms magnesium oxide. Formation of magnesium oxide shows that chemical reaction has taken place. Now let's see the few more examples of chemical reactions happens in our day-to-day life. The chemical reaction has taken place while the wood is burnt and during the process of rusting, digestion, photosynthesis, fermentation like we had discussed before, and in batteries. Thanks for watching and keep supporting our channel. It's AJ Studio. And also like, share, comment and subscribe to it. Thank you once again.